AC Flying School. Our pre-flight briefing today on advanced turning. Our aim is to fly level and descending steep turns at 45 degrees angle of bank onto Pacific headings and to recover from unusual attitudes, including spiral dives, with, if we can, a minimum height loss. Why cover this exercise? Well, primarily so we can turn the aircraft promptly, for example in the avoidance of aircraft, whilst maintaining control. Threat and air management, all times, threats of airplanes, disorientation and terrain as we're descending. Errors we can make over banking the aircraft, spiral descents in error and loss of control eventually. Management, how we're going to do this, keeping that lookout going at all times. Use of anchor points on the ground, so large obvious features, we can try and minimise any disorientation. Our Hazel checks and that mass and balance calculation as part of our pre-flight preparation. So the exercise, initially we'll have a look at just revising 30-degree standard angle of bank turns. After that, I'm sure the instructor will go through a demonstration of a 45-degree steep level turn. I'd just like to really sort of note the attitude at that point. Note where the horizon is sitting in the canopy as a reference. Also, the artificial horizon can also be used in your scan to confirm you are at the correct angles and the correct angles of bank. After that, we're going to split down the turn, very similar to how we taught medium level turns, into an entry, maintenance and exit. To enter the turn, and we're good lookout first. And then when we're ready, we're then rolling the aircraft into selecting our attitude. Again, with each of our controls, our ailerons, we're rolling in, selecting 45 degrees angle of bank, coordinated roll, elevator, adding in that back pressure. And as we are steep with the turn, we will need more back pressure than you would have needed at 30 degrees. Now, also to keep level, we're going to need to use a bit of power. So as you go past 30 degrees of angle of bank, we're going to need to increase by about 200 to 300 RPM. Once we're in the turn, to maintain is our common scan, lookout, attitude, instruments. Now in the 45 degrees, the rate of turn will be faster than we were used to normally. So keep scanning, keep that altitude, the airspeed, the DI scan going. To exit the turn, again to anticipate a third the angle of bank. So looking really at a very minimum of 15 degrees before the heading you want to roll out onto. Selecting straightening of altitude by means of our ailerons for wings level, coordinating with the rudder, so in other words a coordinated roll. Relaxing the back pressure as you're coming back past 30 degrees and resetting the power to your straight and level power setting. Now I'm going to have a good look out on the blind side. Again, this is depending on the high wing or low wing aircraft. And eventually refining back to the datums. Now one point on that, if it's a high wing aircraft, remembering on the entry to the lookout you may need to raise one wing slightly to have a lookout under that wing, especially for the Cessnas. So the entry, maintenance and exit for a steep turn, very similar process to the medium level, with the addition of a bit more back pressure, power as well. For overbanking, be aware this could happen if we select too steep an angle. Angles greater than 60 degrees, the effect of our elevator, if we were to pull back on the yoke or control column, is only going to steepen that turn. Steepening the turn is going to lead us into a spiral dive. So to recover, we do need to be reducing that angle of bank. Reducing the angle of bank and then pitch the aircraft back to the correct attitude. Next, stalling in the turn. Be aware before we get to do any stalling, always include any hazel checks. Signs of the approaching stall. Remember from the stalling exercise, there is a relationship with G. We find we can stall the aircraft at any airspeed. Our main indication, if we get a sign of the approaching stall, is our stall warning and light buffet. They will be the most apparent, because others may be masked. Now, if you do notice those, the recovery at the first sign, if we're trying to do a steep turn and we sign the stall warner, is to relax the back pressure. Remember, for the turn, for a stall, it is an angle of attack problem. If we are in a turn with a steep angle and our airflow is starting to separate, if we just relax that back pressure, we're just reducing the angle of attack. If we find we get ourselves into a fully developed stall, it is just a standard stall recovery. Our next stage, we have a look at unusual attitudes potentially. For unusual attitudes, we may be in an attitude which is not where we wanted to put the aircraft. We also could be disorientated and we may not even know which way the aircraft is initially scanning on our initial attitude. So we're going to move the aircraft in 3 ways, and in order: check the power, roll, then pitch. For the power, if the speed is increasing, we just want to close throttle. If the speed is decreasing, we want to go to full power. If your airspeed is stable, just leave the power where it is. Then roll the aircraft, a coordinated roll back to wings level, and then pitch back to our straight and level attitude. For the steep descending turns, we use still the same process of our main tree, maintenance and exit, but this will be descending with no power. Why we cover this is because we can rapidly increase our rate of descent by spiralling down, by doing a spiral descent. So no power increase, accurate angle of bank maintenance, doing our lookout attitude instruments. However, for every 10 degrees above our 30 degrees angle of bank, we need to be increasing the airspeed. So, for example, if we wanted to do a gliding descent at 45 degrees, we would have to increase our airspeed by 15 knots. That gives us a safe margin above the stall in the aircraft. But apart from that, we still use the same process. So that is our advanced turning. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.